We're live.
What's good? What's good?
Yeah, man. Early morning, early afternoon. Sipping on this coffee, man.
Man,
Fasting.
that ain't a nighttime thing.
Drinking coffee at night.
Uh-huh.
Mm-mm.
No, I'm just thinking about people. I'm so used to that driving life. You know, most of the people I know, when they out driving, they drink coffee. They drinking all sorts of energy drinks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Let's send this video out, man. We coming live, man. This is exclusive. Coming live. So let's shoot this video out. If you on here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Also hit that notification bell. Hit that one if you can hear us okay in the comments, please. Because yeah. All right, so let me send this out here.
And we're going to get into it today. Just you know, if you're watching right now, be sure to hit that like button. You know, we working against the algorithms. Of course, you know, big tech's out there trying to keep the small fish where they think we should belong. But you know, we the voice of the people. So be sure to share this video, like this video, share it. Let's get it out there. Got a good show going on today.
Man, my phone is slowing up. But for you guys who's Jersey Sports Nation, welcome. We're gonna get into it today. We're gonna talk about Joe Rogan, man. Get your thoughts on Joe. What's up? We're gonna put the link down early. Put the link down early if you want to talk about what's going on with Joe Rogan, or if you want to talk about what happened with the shooting that no one's really talking about. And let me pull it up here in Minnesota, the no-knock warrant. You want to, if you know anything about it, you want to voice your opinion. But we want to talk about this Joe Rogan Spotify situation. So then also I want to talk about Candace Owens reacting to Kanye West putting Kim Kardashian on blast over Northwest TikTok post, which I'll play a video so we can get up to speed with that. Let me see. Yeah. So, but anyway, let's shoot this video out. Let's share the video.
Yeah. So we have one of them few times. This is some big stuff. We have the Titans and the Outlaws coming to the same place.
That's right.
So definitely, if you an outlaw from Josie Sports Nation, be sure to put a J in the comments. Let us know you here. If you a TNJ Titan, be sure to put a T in the comments. Let us know that you're here. We going to see who's going to have more there.
That what we doing?
No, not at all, man. Them outlaws, they dangerous. They coming in the pack.
Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, man. We gotta do our advertising. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go. Oh man. So just to get people up to speed, I was trying to find Joe Rogan's actual comments. I think India replayed something. So I'm gonna go on India Ree's page and try to play the audio. All right.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be able to find it, because word out on the street is that about 91 or more of Joe Rogan's videos had gotten taken down off of Spotify. I don't know if it was Joe Rogan that took them down or if it was Spotify that took them down, but they ain't there. So we'll see. I mean, I think he has over what, like 1,800 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience. So,
Oh man, they whitewashing, huh? They don't want the evidence out there. People in trouble. People gonna be in trouble when it comes to the comedic world. It's gonna be some stuff because um, a lot of people are friends with Joe Rogan in this industry, like Dave Chappelle. What's Dave Chappelle gonna say? Because he's such a uh, he fights for African Americans. If you watch his content, a lot of it is racist. You know, I mean, fighting against racism, if you will. But let me I think I found it. Okay, I'm gonna play India Reeves what she said.
okay. Yeah. Let me know when. But yeah, it should end up being really interesting because comedy, whew, you go back, you go through Jamie Foxx. Um, what's the one guy's name?
Hold on. I gotta pay some bills here. Yo, man, you live right now on my podcast, man. You disturbing me. You live.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry about
Go ahead,
that,
man.
man.
You live. Let's go.
I'm live on the
You
podcast.
live on the podcast because you messing up my money. Go ahead, top. Let's go.
I just left my mom and dad with the kids, with my kids. I just ran at the door.
Okay.
I feel so bad about it. He was crying the whole time, but I'm like, whatever.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hit you back in a minute, or unless you want to go on live, I'm gonna send you the link.
All right, send me the link, man. I don't know if I'm gonna go live, but send me the link. What are you talking about?
Oh man, I'll send you the link. Gotta go.
Oh man, was that Jimmy?
Yeah, trying to mess up the paper, man. Trying to mess up the paper. Come on now.
He cold. She belongs to the streets.
Don't mess up my paper, man.
Man,
All right, here we go. Let's see. Hey, John Call said, cancel Joe Rogan. Let's go. Let's get these comments in. Let's get this stuff popping over here. Yes. Joe Rogan is a closet racist. Let's go. I'm an objective. This is about business. Let's go. Let's go with the comments.
Watching, let us know what you think.
All right, let me see here. I'm gonna play this India Reed comments. I like Joe, but I like money more. Let's go.
So check this out.
No white people.
Let's put that banner back up there about India Reed.
Hey y'all, I'm gonna leave a short message here about why I decided to ask my music be pulled off of Spotify. So check this out.
No white people. Says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I goes, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door and there was no white people. It says, okay, take.
I empathize with the people who are leaving for the COVID disinformation reasons, and I think that they should. I also think that Joe Rogan has the right to say what he wants to say. I also think that I have the right to say what I want to say. So as an artist who builds...
This is all about money. Pay attention. Washed up singers. Pay attention.
So they take this money that's built from streaming and they pay this guy $100 million, but they pay us 0.003% of a penny.
India Reed washed up trying to get paper.
I don't want to generate money that pays this. Just take me off. That's where I'm at. And I know that I'm actually, to be honest with you, surprised that my statements were picked up because I thought people weren't really going to listen to me because that's what I'm used to from the industry. But I'm glad that I am being heard. And for that reason, I want to clarify my statements. Again, this is why. Watch this.
Like, saying the word nigger. You've already is just she's calling you. It's like this boy that he but starts calling.
It's a lot of blurts out, man.
There should be a word, especially that
they cut like 50 videos and put all the N words in there.
And then niggers out the.
They're blurring it out.
So we know how social media can be. Things can be doctored. People are taken out of context. It's happened to me many times. However, I want to be clear in no uncertain terms. Where I stand on this is that he shouldn't even be uttering the word. Don't even say it under any context. Don't say it. That's where I stand. It's my right to stand there. I have always stood there. I have other feelings about it, but those are nuances that are not meant for this moment. He shouldn't even be saying it. And so the confluence of energies comes into play here. So now we have this person who is offensive to a lot of people, who's paid $100 million. Spotify, the backbone of Spotify is the music. So you pay the musicians that are the backbone of your business 0.003 to 0.005% of a penny, and you take this money that you generate over here, because all the rest of it goes somewhere. The subscription fees go somewhere. So you take this money that's generated over here and you use it to invest in this guy. Do what you want, but take me off. Or pay me too.
Swanee on the check-in. What's cracking, Swanee?
Swanee.
Come on here, man. Let's go.
Like me. Pay
Let's
us
get on the show, man. I gotta hear your piece.
Pay podcasters of color too.
My homie Sean, Joe Rogan is still going to make money.
And they asked me what I was
Facts.
thinking about this all night. I'm not going to say it all here, but what I want to say to you is something that I already knew, but I want you to know that they said it last night. Most of the streams on Spotify are Black music, but we know that if you're paying attention at all, you understand the role of Black music in this world. So that's a deeper nuance. There's the musicians, there's the Black music that is the backbone of
MDRE trying to get a paycheck.
Spotify too, who are historically underpaid and mistreated.
Black
and all this
skin. Is that the song she sang?
Historical context here that makes all this matter. And then there's this guy, and you take this money and you pay this guy who says this stuff? No. And so it took Anil Young to open the door for someone like me, but I walked through it because I've been standing at this door for a long time. One of the hashtags I put on my post, the written one, was, what if we all leave? And that's what I'm trying to see if we could get to happen. What if we all leave? Then we can start having a conversation. It can go from a conversation to a negotiation.
So she don't care about let's washed up singers chronicles. Washed up singer chronicles, man. She don't care about her saying the N-word. She's trying to do a money grab. It's a straight money grab, man.
I thought this was straight interesting. And if anyone wants to chime in, the link is in the comments. I'll put it down there again. Be sure to click because we want to hear from you. But we're going to get right into this, man. Can you believe I was listening to that the first time? And when she had said, start off, my problem's not with Joe Rogan, but with Spotify.
Pause. I thought this was about Joe Rogan, but continue. Go.
Right.
Elementary.
It was like she contradicted it right from the beginning. It's not about Joe Rogan. I have no problem with Joe Rogan. Then in between, you ever hear about them positive, negative, positive sandwiches? Like how he's teaching, like sales classes and stuff like that. So she says, I have no problem with Joe Rogan. Then she starts playing like the N-word, clips.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that goes back into it's not Joe Rogan, it's the money.
Man, cats be looking for little cracks, man. They be trying to look for cracks to do the takeover, don't they? Transfer that money over to the people.
This is Sparta, baby. But here's one thing and I'm gonna just break this down from a business perspective of what I think is actually going on. Let's forget about Joe Rogan for a second. And the podcasting and everything that's going on with Spotify, right? everyone has sponsorships. There is more music than podcasts. Way more music. There are more artists, there are more songs, there are more videos, and so on. So it ends up getting diluted. And what a lot of people don't see from the business perspective is that when you have that, the music is going to end up getting paid less, per stream or video or whatever, because there is too much volume out there.
However, they do pay him like crap, bro.
Oh yeah, they
less than a penny. What is it? Like 1/5 or less than a penny?
Yeah, they are paying them like crap. But what I'm saying is, if you're comparing it, to a podcast, there's a reason why. First off, the podcast streams aren't really getting paid all like that anyway. Joe Rogan's getting that because he's bringing this huge audience.
Well, we see you in the queue, Sean. We see. Just hold off for 1 second. Go ahead. Listen.
So he's able to negotiate something, bigger. But on the smaller end, like let's say that you start I remember Anchor came out and you could do the sponsorships. And if you got 1,000 people to view a stream and Anchor sponsored you, which they were running an Anchor commercial on an Anchor podcast, they give you like $15 every 1,000. Someone who is good with math, I'll let you guys do the math if you want to post in the comments. But it's not great pay either way. But the fact of the matter is that when you are at the top, you have the ability to be able to negotiate better.
Well, here's the thing of what's that? What's the thing where what is it called? Trojan horse, right? You look at the Trojan horse. You have the king in there, right? And he's not going to open the gates. I call the king the capital corporate America, right? The top of the tops. They're not going to open the door for you. But usually back in the day, they will give the person a gift, and then they'll open the gates, and then all of a sudden the soldiers are coming out, and they're killing everybody in the kingdom. This is what they're trying to do. This is the way. They don't care about racism. All these guys are friends. Ari Spears and all them guys. They're opening up the gates because they're trying to get paid. Facts. Now, it's a shame because all these old comedians, they listen to Richard Pryor. A lot of people love Richard Pryor for saying the N-word. This is before rap, right? Everybody looked up to the 70s, all the 80s rappers, right? In the 90s. They listened to what's his name? Red Fox.
Right.
Mooney. All these people use the N-word, so constant. And then in our generation, when we sitting there listening to Mobb Deep, Scared to Look, Nas, Jay-Z, they made money. Lil Wayne, they made money exploiting the black community, exploiting, using these words. And if you ever go to a concert, even if you go to right now, if you go to like a festival, it's nothing but white folks there. Do we remember in 1990 when what's his name tried to change it? Shout out to Rex. Made a comment, but they tried to change the landscape in 1990, like when Do the Right Thing came out, right? When the Fear of the Black Planet with Public Enemy. Remember when people used to wear the little Malcolm X shoes?
Yep.
We were starting to love ourselves at that point. Everybody, even the baby boomers, okay? The baby boomers were scared because their kids was listening to this music. And a lot of these people became politicians. A lot of these people in this group came, they loved the black culture. It was no different in the 60s. They loved it. So now, these celebrities who made all this money gave it okay to say it. They're trying to change the definition of the N-word. They're saying, oh, you can say it if you say it like this, or if you put the N, the A on the end, or you put the. So now we're here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my question. So if you take away his stuff, then that means you got to take away everybody else's stuff in the back in the day. Now, I do like Dave Chappelle, even like when he left the show. When Dave Chappelle left the show, he knew like he came in there to make the money and make the content. He was a content creator when he was on Dave Chappelle's show. By third season, he felt like they're laughing at him, and he felt like he was doing something wrong. You know, another person had a revelation like that was Richard Pryor. We got videos about him saying when he was on the Sunset Strip that he wasn't going to use the N-word anymore. But what do? You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, and I'm gonna let you Sean get on after this. But my opinion is I love the Constitution. The Constitution is the fight against the government. Now, we wasn't written into that, but we're in it now. That's a fact. We're in it now. So the First Amendment, we should be able to say what we want. Why would you want somebody to lie to you? We can say what we want, but we got the Second Amendment in case you try to touch me. That's a whole fact, ain't it?
Right.
Anyway, I'm done. You got something to say before I get man Sean on?
But no, you're right. There is so much that we would end up having to pull down. So what I want to know is like how are we going to decide? What's what? It's going to end up being a lot. So I hate to see it going down this route. And I heard what Joe Rogan said. We'll actually put the video on that up in a little bit before we actually bring Sean up real quick. Let me just
the Stanley facts all day on this one.
All right, but before coming up, we just have a quick disclosure. If you come up here, you hereby release T&J Radio or Josie Sports Nation, its representatives, employees, managers, members, officers, parent companies, subsidiaries, and directors from all claims and demands arising out in connection of any of the use materials, including and without limitations, all claims of invasion of privacy, infringement. We will not take the video down, and you'd pretty much be agreeing to that. Bring them on.
What's cracking?
Well, what's up, guys?
How was it in them LA streets?
I mean, it's the same old, same old.
She belongs to the streets.
Yeah, what you want to touch on?
Man, that Joe Rogan, man. I mean, I already know he's a pretentious asshole. I mean, I already know from how the way he moves. Like every time I always like hear his voice and how the way he, trying to convey it like a story. He always sound like an asshole. It doesn't really matter what he does. I don't care if he talks about food. If he even making a sandwich, he sound like an asshole in a way. Like, but the problem I have is more specifically on Spotify or other companies who has a certain bias with a community while looking at other communities, most specifically us, as like, hey, like we look at the complaints about gay people more important than black people per se. So we don't care if you guys say the N-word. We'll still pay you guys. But if you guys talk about the fruit community, yeah, you're going to get your ass out of here. And I don't like that shit.
That's a fact. Wow. You're right about that, man.
I really don't like it.
Yeah, man. I feel like there's like a hierarchy, man, because like we're so quick to cancel somebody. There's somebody below you. Like we have transgenders. A lot of we back in the day we used to crack a lot of jokes on people. And now we're tweeting now. You know how many you go on so many people's Facebooks and they said some homophobic or racist things. You know, so that's just opening up the door, saying, okay, we find out on your post because everything is out here since they put this stuff out. Then what if you start getting fired for what you're saying? Like you know what I mean? That's going down a slippery slope, in my opinion. What you think? What you think, Sean? This thing's on mute.
He's muted.
Yeah.
I think you might have muted yourself, Sean.
Okay. But yeah, what do you think about that, Will? You know, when it comes to that.
It's definitely going to end up down a slippery slope. I was in Walmart this morning, and I was hearing some of the most hilarious, conversations. The workers, they over there unpacking the boxes, stocking the shelves and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they talking about some stuff. I'm like, man, if their boss was around, but there are some people nowadays that may go and tell on those workers and try to get those workers fired. Now, they weren't saying anything that was necessary. They weren't saying anything racist or anything like that, but it was stuff that might not be considered as commonplace talk in a work environment. So if we go down that route with that, then it's going to end up going down. They already started the stuff as far as sexual harassment, which we know sexual harassment is real. There is sexual assault and things like that happen within a workplace, but they've made it so broad to where a number of things can end up going down that route, even if you're not really intentionally doing something. So we have to be careful about where we're actually moving towards, because it's going to end up pulling us down for a number of different things.
It's getting ugly, man, because I mean, I want to ask, put in the comments, man, should comedians get a pass? Should they get a pass? I think comedians are the last of the First Amendment. Change that. But yeah, they're the last of the culture of be able to say and do what you want. In my opinion, they should be able to say what they want. We should be able to say what we want. But obviously, businesses is not going to go with that because businesses do not care. Businesses only care about their bottom line. So they'll pretend that they like this. Going with it was the LBGT can't miss a letter community. Pause. But they pretend that they care, but they only care about their bottom line. When we talk about we talked on our show about the coach who got fired from Miami. Well, the reason why it's not a big deal because no one's really caring about it. So India Ari is trying to start something where, okay, well, I'm broke. I'm sitting here in my house. Nobody's listening to my song Black Skin. And so I want to come out here and ride with the people. If Spotify gave her money before she put the post out, we wouldn't hear from her. Let's be honest.
So that's one of the things that really
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Yeah, a lot of these artists, right? As long as they're paid, they're just fine. You could think of your favorite rapper who's out right now. As long as they're getting paid, they are completely fine. But let that money go down, all of a sudden they're activists.
That's right. Sean, you back?
That's 100% true.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see what. Yeah, man. I'm gonna play this clip with comedian Ari Spears talk about this situation. Let's see what he has to say, because I do want to hear from these chicken circuit comedians who can't get ahead, and see what they got to say about it. Give me 1 second. It's a crazy day in the media today. Here we go. Make sure I got the right one. I had it set up. Oh, just keep talking. I'm gonna find it.
That's cool. Yeah. So Sean, what do you think about that? You think that they while they're getting paid, they don't got nothing to say until the money go down and they become activists?
I mean, if you're getting paid and also you embrace that type of like environment, and then until like otherwise, I think you deserve where everything can come to you if you're not calling it out from the start. In my personal opinion.
Mm-mm.
And I'm not gonna sit here and also say to cancel Joe Rogan. I will say this, you know what I mean, I'm not doing that bullshit. Basically, I feel like if Joe Rogan has able to say that, I wish that any, you know what I mean, any podcaster or any comedian could say whatever the hell they wanted to say about other communities. Like shit. Like why is it always, you know, black people like the anomaly when, you know, when you say about black people and after they're outraged, nothing's gonna happen to them. So
That's right.
I might as well, you know what I mean, if you're gonna talk a whole lot of shit about one community, talk shit about other communities.
Yeah.
And that's where at least for me I can give you some respect about it, because most people will be picking and choosing like which one they want to talk trash about, you know. So
And just to be clear, Sean, you're just talking about in comedy, right?
as far as like I'm talking about from the entertainment aspect, because you know they think everything is entertainment. So if you're gonna do it in an entertainment way, do that to the other stuff. Do that to other communities. Don't make it like a way in order to say, hey, like it's bad to talk about this, but it won't hurt that much if you talk about the other community. You're like, nah, bro. It's like you're gonna have to talk about a whole lot of shit. Like if I was talking shit about one community, I'll talk shit about other communities. I'm not gonna be talking shit just because I'm like you know, like they not gonna hurt me. I'm gonna talk a whole lot of stuff because again, your show is always about commentary, about commenting about a plethora of subjects, regardless. You know, I mean, you're knowledgeable, or not. You did it in an entertainment way, so why can't you keep that same energy? That's just me.
Yeah, and I think we need to listen to the whole content anyway. I mean, context, because like they just cut clips of it. You know what I mean? It kind of sound kind of crazy. Hold on, me. I'm mute Swanee. What's up, Swanee?
What's going on, my brothers? How y'all doing?
Doing good. Doing good. Nice to see you, man. It's getting a little
Absolutely,
good.
man.
that
Good
Pittsburgh
to
weather,
see
huh?
my brothers again. Oh yeah,
And stuff.
Pittsburgh. You know it's cold. You know it's cold in Pittsburgh. We all know.
Whew, that's why I keep a sweater on even in my living room.
I need to come down south or LA. Sean, how the weather in LA? Is you beat this up?
It's
How the
48
weather in LA?
degrees. It's
What is it?
48 degrees right now.
Oh, it's cold there too. Oh.
Man, I would love 48 right now.
That's why I'm sick of these down south people and these people in the west. Like it's 48 degrees. It's cold. Like
Hey man, 40 for us is cold, man. It's like we can't. I mean, I wish I have like the experience like you guys over the East Coast or in the Midwest of handling these cold weathers, but we don't have that.
It's
Now
48
there's
down here
certain.
too. Cold as heck in South Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, now not to say that there isn't snow over here. Like there's snow over Cali, like at least in Southern Cali and North Cali, but it's not like prevalent. And not everybody lives in the snow, so
Okay. Yeah, Swanee, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, you're gonna have to fill me in on what exactly Joe Rogan actually said, because I just heard an interview of I guess he was apologizing, saying that some of the remarks he's been making on his podcast, he's going to be more careful next time. So fill me in on exactly what India Ari was talking about.
All right. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play. Well, India, I feel like she's trying to get the bag, man, because we played a clip of her talking, and she was saying basically she wants more money from Spotify. It don't have anything to do with him, but I'm gonna play what Ari Spears says. This is my first time listening to it too, and we kind of chop it up on that.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Ari Spears here. Listen, man,
one of my comedy comrades, one of my guys who I respect tremendously, D.L. Hewley, sent out a post yesterday about Joe Rogan using the N-word. And I reposted it, and I simply asked one question. I said, I wonder if because of this, Dave Chappelle is going no longer tour with him, is going to throw him off the tour. I never said Joe was racist. I never said Joe should be canceled because I always say comedically, contextually, I have to know the context. And even though there will still be some black folks that will be offended, and you have that right to be, again, comedically, if it was a joke or, if like it's no different than Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie The Django or, it being used in a Mel Brooks movie. Comedically, what's the context? If it's done in a performance sense, what is the context? And there were some people coming out defending him, saying that it was in a joking, contextual fashion. And again, I know that there are some black people who will still be offended regardless. And you have that right. But that being said, I simply asked the question. I didn't say Joe was racist. I didn't say he should be canceled. But lo and behold, what happened was exactly what I knew was going to happen. All of Joe's legions of minions and hardcore UFC MMA buddies came to his defense. And I was going, man, I deleted it because I just didn't feel like being Tony Montana fighting off 100 Cubans sent by Sosa's men. I just didn't feel like doing that. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to evolve. Do I have that fight in me in terms of mental and verbal slinging? Hell yeah, I'm one of the best at it. I keep my guns loaded. I keep my verbal guns loaded and my mental guns loaded. I just am going, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to be better. So let me just delete it because the juice ain't worth the squeeze. So I deleted it. But then this morning, DL sends out some actual footage this time of Joe talking about being in Africa and being amongst the apes. And then talking to a black dude who's half black, half white, talking about, well, you got the black body, but yet you got the white brain. The black brain is a different kind of brain. So now, to give you all the actual footage, when you swipe left, you will see the clip that I'm talking about, and you can judge for yourselves. This to me felt different. And to all of Joe's legions of fans who are going to flood up my timeline, hey man, suck an eggplant. Really, really. I know y'all all bond together because of your cauliflower ears and you get off on that with your short shorts and your cauliflower ears. But miss me, nigga. Miss me. I understand comedy. I understand context. DL is my man. Love and support. Fitty fitty, official tissue. And again, I still ask the question. Now with this, does Dave still keep him on the tour? And to all you guys to all you Joe Rogan fans, or you think you woke cats who are gonna go, oh, it's the media because of him with COVID and the horse, whatever thing. Oh, they trying to get him. Oh, don't be a sheep. Oh, you're too sensitive now, Aries. No. I understand the difference between comedy, context, and what Joe on some other shit. I know the difference. That clip, there's a difference. I'm the last motherfucker to ever be too sensitive. You know what I mean? I'm cut from that.
All right, let's try to find that clip when he was talking about the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for that.
All right, let me see if this is it. Let me see.
People think unusual circumstances.
But yeah, that's now Ari Spears, to me, he has a point. Now that him throwing out the N word, I mean that's what people do. But when he said that comment about the Planet of the Apes, that was kind of like uncomfortable to listen to. Um, so let me see if this is it. Here we go. I think I found it.
Planet of the Apes, man. We're going to go see Planet of the Apes. So I look on the iPhone app and it says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I go, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to go see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door and there was no white people. There was no white people.
They didn't finish what he said, but that's pretty uncomfortable. Swanee, what's up, Swan? He's shaking his head. Get him off of mute.
Now that's some interesting content. It's all about the context, but I understand the content that's going on here. And to Ari's point, is that lingo, that language being used in some of these movies like Django and Blazing Saddles from back in the day? Absolutely. So the context of it still matters, right? What's his point? You know what I mean? And I believe in freedom of speech. And I understand where Joe Rogan may be coming from. But at the same time, and others, but at the same time, when you're using it in a way loosely, as he I guess allegedly is, it could be a trigger for a lot of people. Now, to India Arie, I guess she want to remove her music, from Spotify because of it. And Dave Chappelle is one of the comedians today that says the N word probably about 10,000 times in the show. You know what I mean? He uses it more than Richard Pryor used it. You know what I mean? So whether Dave Chappelle take him off, I doubt it. Dave Chappelle's all about that money. Regardless of his fans and his issues with Netflix, I doubt he would take him off a show.
So do you think that with the context, do you think Joe Rogan should be canceled, Swanee?
No, I don't think he should be canceled. I mean, there's a lot of people that hold podcasts, and there's a lot of comedians out there that say a whole lot of derogatory terms. Other than the N word. You know what I mean? Because I do believe in again the freedom of speech. However, was he using it to discriminate against somebody? I don't know. I have to wait to hear the context of how he used it. Didn't hear it yet. But again, when people talk about certain sensitive things, with other groups of people who have been through mass atrocities like we had during slavery, right? I ain't gonna mention the group's name because it's a sensitive, controversial matter, but people know what I'm talking about. So should people be canceled because they use certain things in context? Not in a discriminatory way, but just like what Whoopi Goldberg did, for an example, what she did on The View. She stated some facts. They didn't like it. Should she have been suspended? Absolutely not. So I'll leave it at that for right now.
Good stuff. Ron, what do you think about what you have to say about this situation?
How you gentlemen doing today?
Fantastic. Beautiful day.
Good.
Down here.
I wish I was in some of that LA weather, man. I miss that weather. It's just beautiful. But I don't think Joe Rogan should be canceled, but at the same time, I think you have to step back and look at what comedy is. All the comic geniuses, whether it's Red Fox or Don Rickles or whoever, like in the past was this comic genius. You have to talk about a taboo subject and make the person laugh, make it funny. Now, in Joe Rogan's case, he tried a taboo subject and he failed. I don't think he should be canceled, but the joke he tried to use or the subject he tried to use, it just wasn't good. more than being canceled. He wasn't able to take a topic that's so taboo, and make it funny. That's what all the great comedians, but I mean, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, all these guys have, Freddie Prince's dad. I mean, all these guys failed at some point. You try to do a taboo subject and you offend a bunch of people. I mean, that's basically what Joe Rogan tried a cheap joke, and it offended a lot of people, and it just it didn't come out probably the way he meant it. It wasn't a good joke, or whatever he was trying to say ended up offensive instead of in that funny taboo area of comedy.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy, you there?
Hold on, let me get him back on.
Oh,
Hey.
I don't know what's going on. Jimmy, you there?
Yeah, I'm there, man.
Have you been listening to the show?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Joe Rogan should not be canceled, man. Joe Rogan ain't no doctor. Be saying something about the virus. How can you get offended? He a karate man in a podcast whole show, man. What he say may or may not be real. He's just a man.
Mm.
And you can say whatever I believe in freedom of speech, right? But I believe if you freely speak the wrong thing, you're free to get your ass beat or fired too. So that go with it. I'm sorry, Whoopi Goldberg. You know them folks sensitive. You shouldn't open your mouth. I know you said you was one of them, but they don't think so.
Because she belongs to the streets.
Free speech.
You breaking up?
With that mouth. A lot as a young person, and I took a lot of beatings for my mouth. So I'm all about the free speech. But just know that tongue can get you.
Wait a minute. You said you took a lot of beatings from free speech. Continue.
I didn't hear you.
You said you took a lot of beatings for free speech. Can you elaborate on that? Don't go. We gotta get him back. Hold on. Can you hear us?
Yeah, his phone must be breaking up.
Man, he got to call back. We can't. This is like too big to continue. Like he said, he got some paws put on him for free speech. We got to hear that. So you got to call back, man.
Oh man, he wasn't stepping in the name of love. He was getting stumped.
But hey, just think about this. To his point, freedom of speech is not necessarily a bad word or a derogatory word. If your mom or dad tells you to do something and you give them and you say to them, "I don't feel like it," you're gonna get smacked. So
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a derogatory term when you're talking to your parents. When you talk back to your mom and dad or grandma, you're gonna get slapped right in the face. You know what I mean? And you ain't gotta say the N-word or the vax or whatever else, or anything derogatory or controversy. The moment you talk back in sass, you're gonna get smacked in the mouth.
That's a fact. That's a whole fact. Sean, you there? What's your thoughts, Sean?
Shout out to Keith.
I mean, I am a believer in freedom of speech, man. Like I'm just gonna keep it 100. Like, shit, at least that Joe Rogan. Like, one thing I'll say I respect him by is that at least he actually, he actually said it, and also he knows that he's saying that in that type of way. Now, one of the contexts that these like his stands is defending by saying that one of the episodes is about him talking about why other races don't have their own version of nigga or nigger. But the same, I mean, I get, okay, in some way, I kind of get it. But the problem is that he, before that happened, he was saying it in a very derogative way before he made that episode.
Where's he from? Oh, got my coffee. Where's he from? Because there's a lot of funny white comedians like Ron alluded to, like Rickles, Bill Burr is my dude, and he say a lot of racial stuff, but he's funny, man. Like I'm okay with laughing at racial jokes, man. Now if you're talking at me, then that's a different, you can feel, the tension. There are some really racist people, like the dude from Seinfeld. That was a racist comment. I don't know if y'all remember that when he was on stage getting heckled by some black people, and he went out there and went off like that. what they say, the heart speaks. I forgot how the term is in the Bible, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but like Bill Burr and all those other guys, like people from Boston, that's a racist state. You know what I mean? And they crack those jokes. But now let's look at Def Comedy Jam. Def Comedy Jam, they said a lot of racial jokes, and it was funny. And I don't want them taking that stuff down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is funny. I mean, I'm not saying that like comedy should have like, stop doing that, because I'm gonna say this, like comedy is purpose is like, tackling those type of topics and do it as funny as possible, even if it's dark or as vulgar as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And also I like that. But the problem is with what Joe Rogan is doing is that he used the comedy, like I'm just gonna keep it real. He's not even a comedian. He's not even that funny. In my opinion, he's not even that funny.
Yeah, he's not funny. I watched his Netflix special the last time. I was like, womp womp. So I agree, he's not.
He's not even funnier than Stephen Colbert. He's not funny than John Matthews. I mean, what type of other? Oh, not John Matthews, John Stewart. Like, what other white comedians I could say that's funnier than? I mean, I think there's other ones, but he's not even a comedian. He's just like he just like what is it called? A carbon copy of Dana White or some shit. Like that's pretty much what it is. Like Dana White and him are pretty much like merely twins from two different times. I don't know. Like one of them is, I don't know. One of them he stick with his stick with being white. The other guy is thinking that, hey, I'm white, but I could tackle on with other races or whatever. I'm like, but you guys look the same and act the same. And
hey, Sean, you trying to call Joe Rogan mini me? I'm trying to say that.
Oh yeah, he desperate. Yeah, yeah.
I want to ask this question.
He is a mini me.
Stanley asked, should Whoopi
Despicable
get fired
me.
too?
Despicable me.
I want to ask this question. Should Whoopi get fired too? I want to see what y'all guys say about that.
No, he should not get fired. She actually said the truth. The only reason why they wanted to fire or even suspend her because she actually stand up or say something that is actually factual about from her side. In that instance, of course they're gonna say like, I'm afraid to fire you because you should be embracing it. Okay, but if you're gonna say that, why can't you say that to the other guests or other hosts about when they say about their own side?
Good point.
That's a great point. And should she be fired? No. Sean, stated that already. I mean, again, when we talk about the situation around race, when the society groups us together and they call us black and brown people, right? And they group us all together, or people of color. People of color or indigenous is not the same thing as black or African American. You know what I mean? And that's a different story.
I hate that term, people of color. This stick with this being.
Absolutely. So when Whoopi Goldberg stated that, that it's not about race, it's not, because they're all genetically Europeans, period. And that's just the truth. And her even being suspended for saying it, I just don't understand that. You know what I mean? And that's just I don't know. That's crazy.
And it brings an interesting point. We have to be able to get to a point in society, used to be there, where you can have these type of nuanced conversation, because it wasn't just as for lack of better words, black and white as Whoopi was making it. But she had a point in there, of course. But if we end up getting to the truth of it,
Keith Phillips sound like one of those Joe Rogan guys. I'll say, like, African American was that. I'm like, anyway, sorry.
Give me 1 second. But yeah, there was, for the majority of society, we were always grouped by either a tribe or a country. So you were, either in the country sense, you're a Polak, you're Russian. If you're in in the continent of Africa, if you're in recent in the past times, you might be from Kemet or whatever it would be, depending on what time period we're talking about. Then you can go into tribes and different things like that. But we're at a point now to where we're using these words, black, white, to group a whole lot of people together. So it presents a confusion whenever you're talking about things in the past, like the Holocaust, for example, because you're trying to use today's terminology based off of what's going on then. That's why, it's important for us to, be able to have the information out there. But it seems like, what tech is doing and the media is doing is trying to take away the means for the people to be able to get information.
Great point. That's a great point. Hey, Ron, what you think about what I Will said?
I agree. I definitely agree with Will. That big tech's trying to squash the past, and they're trying to create their narrative. Whether they're trying to cancel people, for whatever their opinions are, whether it's Whoopi Goldberg or Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, he was wrong, and I think Whoopi's probably wrong on her stuff, but they shouldn't necessarily be canceled. Like, that's big tech wants to just have their own narrative. She has a right to say whatever she wants, in today's world. And I think Will's right. Everybody has a different experience, and I think people try to take away that experience by saying people of color or whoever. Like, the Jews had their experiences, blacks have their experiences, indigenous people had their experiences, Polish had theirs, Italians had theirs, Irish had theirs, and then just lumping them together, takes away everybody's individual, experiences in that, and I think that's part of it, just a group. And maybe it does that for political purposes. They try to group everybody together, but everybody has a different experience in that regard, and people can't understand that same, like somebody, who grew up in the Amazon doesn't, would be grouped in a group of color, doesn't understand somebody who grew up in, Black America versus somebody who grew up in Indonesia. It's just totally different,
Hold on one second. Ron Portugal, who is not Mike Vick. Hold on one second. Put this link in the comments. I need Keith Phillips to come on up. Keith is an articulate.
Oh my gosh.
He over there in the comments. Keith, we need you to pop on, baby.
Man, look,
not this crap again, man. I don't want, man. Like, every time I hear this shit on Twitter, man, this is absolutely ridiculous. If that was the case, you should not be as what you are right now if you're not a part of that term. In my personal opinion, I'm not gonna go over there, but I'm just gonna say it like this: like, if you are looking similar to other people from other African countries, you are black. It doesn't matter what you are. It just doesn't matter. Sorry. That's all I gotta say.
Anybody oppose that?
I'm gonna send
Keith. Yeah, let me go. Well, I'm sorry.
Let's want to get in, because I think.
Go ahead.
Listen. I guess there's the caller that was on. He might still be on. I don't know his name. But when you mention groups of people, like when you mention Irish, you mention Italians, you mention Scottish, you mention Dutch, you mention French, you mention Spanish, you mention Portuguese, and then you mention black. Black is not a nationality. Okay, so again, it comes down to the terms. And the whole thing around it is, for an example, we didn't create the terms black or white. That's Darwinism, right? So, for an example, in the after the Homestead Act was passed in 1866 in the United States of America, you had Irish come over, you had Italians come over, and they were Irish and they were Italian. After a while in the 50s, they grouped them all together as white, right? So there you go. You got all these groups of people from all over Europe grouped as white. And matter of fact, on the census right now, on the census, if you're from North Africa or the Middle East, you're considered white on the census of the United States of America.
Okay. Well, real quick, man, I want to while we're talking about this, because the View, it seems like the View only has one view for Whoopi to get canceled at a 65-year-old lady. You know what I mean? Now, I want to play this clip by Bill Maher. I think Bill Maher is leaving the Democratic establishment, but I want to play what he got to say, and then we can comment on that. One moment.
Everybody was like, "Oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma." First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no fucking thing as karma, okay? Get over that. Whoopi attacks me on a regular basis. She says stupid shit on a regular basis. They just happen to coincide. But can I just say this? I had on last week Ira Glasser, former longtime head of the ACLU, talking about free speech. Whoopi Goldberg, who, by the way, I hope is still a friend. We can disagree with each other. Should not be canceled or put off her show, as much as I totally disagree with her crazy statement. Free speech. She should be there. She shouldn't get a timeout.
Not every single thing has to be for everybody.
Right.
We can have platforms that have stuff on them that not everyone on that platform or who consumes stuff on that platform enjoys. And The View is a particularly weird place to do a cancellation.
It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting that it's called, I mean, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
There is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
That's correct. I think that's not actually, you're right, the name raises questions, and certainly there's been some much covered internal politics on that show, but I do think that, there is space. Even that show does have space. When Whoopi said what she said, there was quick pushback from other panelists. They were like, "Oh, I don't know. Actually, I think that might not be right." That's it. Mission accomplished. We talked about it.
Can we just understand that part of our sorry racial history in this country is that the point of view from a black person is often going to be very different and sometimes shocking to a white person. I pulled the quote from when Whoopi defended Michael Vick. Remember, Michael Vick was the football player who was electrocuting dogs? And I'm a lifelong PETA board member, Okay. And also someone who believes the Nazis were very racist. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But here's what she said about Michael Vick. He's from the South. This is part of his cultural upbringing. For a lot of people, dogs are sport. Instead of just saying he's a beast and he's a monster, this is a kid who comes from a culture where this is not questioned. Okay? You see the point here? Again, I don't agree with her on Michael Vick, but we grew up in two different worlds, which the white people imposed upon the black people. They are going to sometimes have a very different opinion. And the answer is not to make them sit in a corner for 2 weeks. That is insulting. It's so insulting to make a 65-year-old, the person at ABC News said, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. Reflect. How insulting for someone of her age, who's a sophisticated person, and the impact of...
I'll stop it right there. Let me see. Oh, yeah. All right. So we got a little dialogue going on here. What's going on, Keith?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Oh, fantastic. What's your thoughts on everything we're talking about?
All right, so the here's my thing about freedom of speech all the way around. Okay, I'm not just a Joe Rogan fan, but I do listen to his podcast because I'm starting to get into podcasting myself. Right, I do believe that they're all the artists are getting upset about the money that Joe Rogan is getting paid from Spotify versus the money that they're making from their music. All right. Freedom of speech. Like I'm so sick I'm starting to get sick and tired of the politically correct shit. For real. You know what I mean? Before, in my era, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And I'm like the dude that was talking. I got 7 stitches in my forehead. I got attacked by one of the biggest dudes on the campus. You know what I mean? Because I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? And it was the truth. A lot of times people are afraid of what they see in the mirror, or they're afraid of the truth. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like now we're in a society where we can't call the truth the truth. Like take for instance, dog. If you were born with a penis and it says man or male on your birth certificate, you're a motherfucking dude. I don't care what you identify with today. You know what I'm saying? But if you call a dude that identifies as a woman a dude, there's a problem. Before you know it, we are not going to be able to speak because every word is going to offend somebody in some type of way. And then as far as comedians, like take what's that little dude's name? The Kevin Hart. When he apologized for some stand-up he did, I said, you's a sucker. You's a bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because I would never apologize for something I said, especially if I said it in stand-up comedy. You know what I mean? Now they're trying to censor stand-up comedy. It's like anything else. If you don't use your rights and stand up for your rights, they're gonna take them away from you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, you can't say nothing now. You know what I mean? Oh, you can't call no with the football team gonna change their name because it's offensive. I mean, stop. Where does it end? You know what I mean? And we're going down a rabbit hole to Neverland. Again, pretty soon we're not gonna be able to say anything. You know what I mean? I'm at the store, or I'm at my man's restaurant, and there's a flaming cue that comes in. You know what I'm saying? And he's all loud and disrespectful. It's okay for him to cuss at the top of his lungs and talk about sucking and doing this and doing that while there's kids in the restaurant. But if I call dude out, I wasn't going to go upside his head with cheer. But if I call dude out, you know what I'm saying? Because he identifies as a woman, they look at me some type of way. Come on, man.
Shots fired.
Our society is upside down, and it's crazy. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not just big Joe Rogan guy. You know what I mean? I do know he is a comedian. Now, whether I like him or not, I'm rough on comedians. You know what I mean? There's a lot of black comedians I don't like. But, you know, comedy is comedy. And that clip that y'all played, like, you know, I don't know Joe Rogan personally to know the context that he was putting that out as. You know what I'm saying? But if I walked into Africa after just talking about the Planet of the Apes, I mean, if I walked in the jungle, I would be like, this is the Planet of the Apes. You know what I'm saying? The real deal. I mean, I just think America's getting too sensitive. You know what I'm saying? I still believe in freedom of speech. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty, William will tell you, I'm a pretty literal guy. You know what I'm saying? So people calling me nigga never bother me because by definition, that's not what I am. You know what I'm saying? And I know that there's niggas in every culture. You know what I'm saying? And I know because I ask my friends of the different cultures. What's a nigga in your culture? How you say it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just over the whole politically correct society we're turning into because you can't even speak the truth anymore without offending somebody. You know what I mean? Dog, you might identify as a woman, but you got a penis, and on your birth certificate it says you're a man. I don't care how you disguise your voice, how you sashay, none of that. You still do. And I'm going to refer to you as dude. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Oh, and then real quick, the African American thing. I never was with the African American thing. First of all, there's a lot of Africans that don't even like Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? For various reasons. And how do I know? Because I talk to them, right? Second of all, always believe that the African American title was a title that white America gave blacks to make us seem like we fit in. You don't got to call Italian Americans. You don't call Jewish Americans. You call them Jews. You know what I mean? You call them Italian. You know what I mean? Like on the application, right? It's like, well, I haven't filled out that application for years because I work for myself. But the last time it was like white African American, Asian, Latino, something like that. You know what I mean? Don't, in my opinion, don't fall for that African American title because I'm either American or I'm black. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I'm black in America. That's how I look at it. And I mean, that's.
Good stuff.
I like what y'all doing. You know what I mean? But I think, you say stupid. I think everybody, it's not even a pass. You should be allowed to say whatever you want to. You know what I'm saying? Without all the extra BS. You know what I mean? Like I posted, like Bernie Mac, they would have put him under the jail. Bernie Mac was raw dog. You know what I mean? And we'll talk about anything and everything. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the end game is. It's definitely, to me, it's definitely a control thing. You know what I mean? And they're using social media and the masses to control different narratives and stuff like that. But outside of control, like I don't really understand what the end game is. You know what I mean? I usually say follow the money. You know what I mean? But there's really no, I mean, I don't know if there's even a money trail behind this whole you can't say this, you can't say that. Like I don't but me, I kind of say whatever I want, and I'm trying to get better with the F-bomb because you know that offends a lot of people in the professional world. But what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they just waiting. They waiting for the for this generation to die off, man. It's a whole change. Everything that you're saying is definitely right. I think that they're trying to hold on, there's slow feedback somewhere, but they're trying to get power. It's all about power.
Okay.
Even with you know the voter registration stuff. Come on now, let me a show of hands. Did anybody on this thing know someone who don't have an ID?
Right.
Let's be honest here.
Right.
That is, they're trying to get it's called the great migration. They're trying to make a different race. They're trying to get these immigrants in here. So because they know African Americans are waking up. They know that they need 90% of African Americans to vote, and they're trying to replace it so they can stay in power. That's all it is.
Yeah, you know what? I heard someone else said that to me before too. You know what I mean? And how they, you know, most things that move in America move on incentives, right? Mm-hmm. So if you bring all these people in, all these different cultures and stuff in, and you give them the government assistance or incentives like that, you can basically move them any way you want to.
Facts. And let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, everybody on here. Why are they they're incentivizing losing?
Oh, right? Boy. I mean, don't even get me started on that. That's crazy.
Everything is about losing, right? And then they incentivize it. So think about that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't reward people in 1965 when they had the Moynihan report that was going to empower men, black men. If you were empower black men, that's the real trickle down effect in America.
Right.
They didn't do that. They went to the woman, and now they got us feuding like it's like we're in Avengers, you know, Civil War. We got to fight with them. They gave the women the power in 1964. That's why you see all them dudes down court.
But ready for this? But they giving women the power now. Think about it. They giving women power now. You don't need a man. You don't need a man. If you look at some of the stuff on TV, their whole platform has changed and is geared towards women. You know what I mean? They've taken all the male hosts off, or they went after them. They went, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. They went after them to get them out of power, to put women in power. And the easiest way to go after a man in power is to send a woman after him. I mean, come on, that's just historical.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing with this. Think about this. The white man is losing power, right?
Yeah.
They're becoming now. We get the transgenders now, so the men is getting back in power. They're gay now. They're transgender. You see what I'm saying? There's a hierarchy. So black women can't. You see what's going on? Like black women, white women, they're losing their jobs now to transgenders, and then it's going to be Asians. It's like they're eating themselves. That's why, like Whoopi Goldberg was just trying to cancel, and The View was trying to cancel Joe Rogan. Now she getting canceled. They eat each other. What y'all think about that?
It's me personally. I think Hollywood been gay. They just finally coming out the closet. I think the music industry been gay. You know what I'm saying? Like I dibbled and dabbled in the music industry. I had a promoter. I ain't gonna say his name, I had a promoter that I had met in his younger years when he's at Pitt. He ended up going to Slip and Slide. We'll say that. And he would call me, you know what I mean? Because he felt indebted to me because I looked out for him when he was in college. He would call me on those yachts, like, Keith, let me say something real quick. Don't say nothing. You know so-and-so? You know so-and-so? He got a whole ass man in his face right now. Okay, don't say nothing. I gotta go quick.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So Hollywood been gay. You know what I'm saying? The music industry been gay. You know what I mean? It's just that now, because of the times, you're allowed to come out the closet, so to speak. You know what I mean? And it's like if you ain't on that bandwagon, they gonna get you. You know what I mean? That's like, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but just like the young dude, the big dude, the host of what's the big dude's name that used to make his chest jump all the time, and the
Terry
African
Crews.
black dude.
Terry Crews.
When that dude joined the Me Too movement, come on now. As big as you are, you had some man fondled you. Nigga, you wanted that. You wanted that.
Shaking his ass multiple times.
You know what I'm saying? You wanted that. And look where his career went. Some of those dudes be selling their soul for fame, man. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the reasons why
Straight facts.
Dave Chappelle left and came back. You gotta listen to his interviews. One, like the one guy was saying, he was feeling that when he was cracking those jokes, those nigga jokes, that they was laughing at him, not with him. You know what I'm saying? But the other thing was, they trying to get him in a dress. They kept trying to get him in a dress. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't with that. You know what I mean? But it's crazy because I think that Terry Crews, Me Too. No, nigga, you was doing the booty buster. You know what I'm saying? As big as you are. Like, come on, dog. I'm saying.
Shots fired.
Tell him why you mad, son.
Hey, I want to hear what. Hold on. Is Jimmy, you there, Jimmy? Jimmy.
You might have muted yourself.
All right. Ron, what you got to say about this, Ron?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely trying to weaken everything, with the homosexuality and the transgenderism. I think it's an attack on men and attack on our society. They're trying to divide and conquer everybody, and you're gonna see soon like transhumanism. They're trying to normalize all this behavior, whether homosexuality or transgenderism, and soon they're going to say, hey, this is normal. Hey, there's no God. There's just, this robot or their deviant behavior, of a lot of the elite. You see like in the music industry, this behavior, Hollywood, Chinese are funding it and other people, like they're trying to get us this to become normal. This behavior wasn't normal growing up. And now all of a sudden they're saying, hey, this is normal. It's not normal to have a dad anymore. It's not normal, hey, it's normal to be gay. It's normal to be transgender,
But then they scream Christianity.
What?
But then they scream that they're Christians. Come on.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, there's stuff. Yeah,
Jimmy, you there?
What'd you say?
Jimmy, there?
Yeah, I'm in here, man.
Go ahead,
I'm
Jimmy.
here.
You
Can
left
y'all
us
hear me?
off. I hear you well. You left us off on. You said you used your a right to free speech, and somebody lumped you up. Go.
Yeah, that is correct. That happened many a time. People say they want freedom of speech, but you gotta understand also responsibility go with that. You can say what you want, but if you say the wrong thing, somebody gonna put their foot in your tail. That just go with it. Okay, you can have freedom of speech, but there are consequences for any action that you might take. Now, if you work for a company that's owned by a certain group of people that's very sensitive about their antecedents, and you go talk about their antecedents, they're going to pick you. They're going to get you. If you go to a neighborhood like the neighborhood I grew up in, right, or you can call it a predominantly black neighborhood, and you're not a predominantly black person, and you use the N-word, you're free to say that. But it's going to be all types of bricks and bottles upside your head. That's what go with it. You need to be aware of what you involved with.
Where did you
We
grow
just
up at?
talked. I grew up in Alabama, man.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now you in the music industry or whatever, you in the what else did they say? Hollywood. Now you know that the people in that industry are more I'm gonna use the word fluid than what an older guy like me would think is normal. Okay? Now if they in power over there, they got the power, they got the juice over there. If you talk bad on them, they gonna cancel you. Because they got the juice. You need to know where you are and what you saying. You free to say whatever you want. You also free to get whatever you get with what go with what you say. That's just what it is.
Keith, what you say to that? What are you
Oh,
saying?
listen, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. You know, but the consequences or the response to what the people are saying, it doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? Just because you say something that someone doesn't like, now they want to cancel you because they're using their power. I mean, man, that's a part of what discrimination
Right.
is all about. You know what I mean? Using your power to cancel you because they're using their power.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
in Joe Rogan's case, and even in Whoopi Goldberg's case, you know what I mean? If you cancel them, they got enough power and enough juice to start their own thing, and that's what I would do. You know what I mean? That's like if I'm working at a company and I don't like the way the people are treating me, and maybe they're treating me a certain type of way because they are prejudiced towards me, I'm gonna just leave. This is I don't know about nobody else's country. You know what I'm saying? Well, I know a little bit about Africa, but it's
Whoopi
America. Don't
Goldberg,
start your own
65
thing.
years old. Whoopi 67. It's a shame they doing that to you. What I'm saying, you don't own no show. You need to be doing it to people instead of letting it get done to you.
Right. Don't be a hypocrite.
But
Don't be. Now, one thing you can say about me, I ain't no hypocrite.
like all those people that canceling Whoopi, the people that's canceling Whoopi, the people, those people understand, get money, get power, own it. I thought you was with them, Whoopi. You say you with them. Obviously, they done canceled you, have not taken steps to
That's a
become
good
an
point.
owner. You're not with them.
That's a good point.
Meeting.
That's a good point. She was rolling with them. Now she wants
If
some
you was
sympathy now. That's a good point.
right,
You know why?
Because
Hey, you're breaking up a little bit. Just hold on till you get like a good area. I'm gonna keep you on. I want to hear what you got to say, but you're really breaking up in the air. Hold on. Stay on though. Stay on.
But it was a good point. You think about like just a couple days ago, before stuff with Whoopi, they was talking about Joe Rogan, and she was rolling with like, hey, we might have to get rid of him, or
No, they actually was like, we're going to cancel the View if they don't take them off Spotify. I think that's what they said.
Now, I mean, I guess that might be why people talk about karma. Now, once again, I still believe that Whoopi shouldn't be fired, and I think the suspension is stupid. But I think it's actually I'm sitting there like, this is a grown woman. You putting her on punishment?
Yeah, you gotta get neutered, man. Look, you got people getting Nick Cannon out here, people getting Colin Kaepernick. I want to kind of switch gears in a second about Brian Flores, the coach in Miami, former coach. But continue what you were saying with Whoopi.
Oh no, I mean, who was the other person? Roseanne.
Nobody care about Roseanne.
But you know what? Think about this. It's all about money. If you remove the money, then who's getting canceled for what?
Facts.
Remove the money. Then if you remove the money, they don't care about what she said. What happened was she said something, right? All the people that bring the money in started having a problem with it, so they want to put her on punishment. You know what I'm saying? But if you remove all the money, who's getting canceled for what? I don't get canceled when I say shit because I don't got money. All like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's all about controversy. Okay, the people who own these networks, they create the problem and they have a solution for it. Controversy sells. Controversy brings ratings, right? So this is strategic in their planning. Okay, we're still in captivity or slavery per se, right? So this suspension for Whoopi Goldberg is just that is the most humiliating thing you can do to, I don't care what age she is, she's 65, so be it. It don't matter. A suspension for a woman, an actress, a black woman who's been in the game for all these years, and you suspend her for speaking some things that may be true to a whole lot of people
Right.
from perspective and a lot of people's perspective. But at the end of the day, controversy sells. And who makes the money? These network owners. Who are they owned by? I think we all know that.
So, with that being said, Swanee, you actually brought this to my attention. I didn't even know this happened on social media about that shooting. Why ain't I mean, did anybody hear about that no-knock shooting that happened? Where was it? Minnesota?
Yeah, Minneapolis. 22-year-old black man shot and killed by police in Minneapolis, actually by the St. Paul Police Department. So right now, the St. Paul Police is saying that Minneapolis police gave them the no-knock warrant to go in. Now, Amir Locke, rest in peace, he was the one that was shot and killed. He wasn't even the guy. He didn't commit no crime at all. The police got some kind of key to open up his apartment door, and he's a legal gun owner on top of that. And he was under the blanket, so the police come in. They didn't announce themselves. They got there and busted in his apartment and say, police, we have a warrant. So he wakes up out of his blanket holding his gun, right? He didn't point it. So the police just shot him, right? The wrong person, mistaken identity. Okay, that's a problem. But the problem goes back to the no-knock warrant in the first place. Okay, the St. Paul police, the Minneapolis police, and the people who had this on law, they all should be held accountable and responsible for the crime. If that includes the whole Justice Department, so be it. The judge, the attorneys, the DA, all of them, they all should be held accountable for it.
You're right, and the crazy thing is, like, they didn't really show a long video. They have all the video because they all had body cams on, I believe. And me, I'm not really into, I'm for police, to be honest with everybody, but this is crazy what I saw. Like, we should have the power to have a firearm. That's the Second Amendment. You're walking in the house, he's not even on the warrant, and you just busted in, you didn't knock. You know what I mean? So that's cause for red flag. But this is my opinion about the whole situation. I think the fact that if this was Trump's administration, there would be a lot more press on this. You know what I mean? Now, I think they're right now. I saw something where they're rioting. Protesting. But if this was on the Republican ticket, and because we have a midterm election coming up, and Biden is losing so bad because one, he didn't talk to Ice Cube, and try to make a deal with the African American community, right? And they never think about it. Like he did as soon as he got in office, he did an Asian crime bill.
Right.
He forgot about everybody. He forgot about the people who voted for him, which I did not. He's failing African Americans left and right. There's inflation going on. Like, people that living on a budget now, they can't buy the certain things. Like, think about all those people who's on public, or not public assistance, but they have a restricted money where they can't buy certain things now because things is going up. So right now they're losing the pandemic. They got everybody fired. They lied about everything, and they was canceling people. We got videos that we played, Will and I, where Nancy Pelosi came on here and said they cannot mandate anything because it's a HIPAA law. We have the video. We've been playing it all last year, and then Biden come in and try to strong arm people, and they realized that was unconstitutional. So he's losing. And CNN and all the media, was it NBC? They're in bed with them because why ain't I hear about it? Why ain't nobody hearing about it? They're not trying to put the issue because they have three branches of power. They're pretty much a king right now. They have three branches of power that they're in control of. And it's a problem, right?
Yeah, and because this may be a situation, it's still developing, but it may be one of them situations that don't fit the narrative. So this administration wants to take the guns away anyway. So they don't really like to see
good point.
Gun owners and stuff like that. Like we
yeah.
In the first place. So when you get to a story like this, and it's really sad, for any
What up? What's
those
that? Peter
supposed
background.
to, protect us.
Uh-huh.
And we'll see how it develops. But if this is a a gun owner, like if this is the new standard, because I'm riding around with mine all the time, and I don't want to be in a situation where all of a sudden, that you have any guns in the car, and all of a sudden, stuff goes from 10 to 100, in a
Right.
couple of seconds.
Right.
So I hope this isn't the route that we're going, to go further into this country.
Right. Right. Man,
So we've actually been there, man. And until they change the no knock law, we're going to continue to see this on the black and the white side. You know what I'm saying? And like Will, like it's crazy because I'm thinking that when they run your license, it tells them that you are a gun permit holder. You know what I'm saying? For them that it's just hard, man. It's hard, and I remember years ago they said, that black men are in trouble and we're being targeted and so on and so forth. And it rings true today. You know what I mean? And it was funny how my man was like, I didn't vote for you. Mean you ain't black if you don't vote for Biden. Remember that? I'm saying, it's crazy. And it's like I think us as black people in America, we gotta start doing more research, man. Because it's like, why are most people Democrats anyway? Oh, because they were born that way, basically. Did they really do the research to see what the party has to offer them at that time of the election? Nah, they just did it because that's what we do as black people. You know what I mean?
It's a fact. That's a fact, man. It's like we were born on the plantation, and we continue to vote for the plantation. I mean, every most of the policies that they put in hurt black people.
Yes.
So, even I remember Swanee brought it up one time about the unions. Back in the day, like I mean, you can elaborate more on that, but when they put the unions in, didn't you say all the black construction workers lost their accounts? Swanee? Yeah.
You talk about the black construction workers in New York?
Oh, I thought they were down south. There was a lot of down south.
You talking about the sharecroppers?
Yeah. You was talking
Well,
about
the
that before.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just be brief on it. For an example, after slavery, after emancipation, they were sharecroppers. Our people were sharecroppers. They were considered freedmen. Anybody who descends from emancipated slaves were considered freedmen. So anyhow, and we're freedmen today. So they wanted to join a sharecroppers union. And the moment they joined forces to unionize, man, these owners and these white folks, majority of them, came and slaughtered our people, shot them dead. And that's why I talk about our history and our stories, because years later, you ever heard of a guy named A. Philip Randolph, right? He the one to organize the Brotherhood of Porters, the sleeping car workers brotherhood. And so, that's why it's so important to educate ourselves when it comes to these kind of things, because especially joining a union. And A. Philip Randolph, he was actually the one credited for organizing the first successful, now the key word is successful, black unions in this country. Because all the other ones they tried to join, they pretty much disrupted. So.
Good stuff.
What's really interesting? A lot of the things that are being pushed a lot by the left, they're typically the things that began out of racism in the first place. So the unions, like, have a racist history. The minimum wage laws, they have a racist history. Minimum wage, a lot of people don't know. Whenever slavery was done, also, these black people, they were out there, they were getting out of jobs, they had skills, they were learning trades and things like that. So they were able to do a lot of things. The minimum wage laws were put in place to where they were able to say, all right, well, why would I hire, let's say that they were getting paid 30 cents an hour. I don't remember what it was, somewhere around there, maybe less. But they say, hey, we're going to put it to $1. At that time, period of time, they're saying, well, I'm not going to pay you N-words $1. I'm going to pay someone that looks like me and just teach them. So that's why it's really important. Like whenever they're getting people, and I'm speaking to any of you who are watching, who are consider yourself liberal, Democrat, or whatever. I'm not saying anyone's bad or good based off of their party affiliation, because there's bad on both sides. But you got to really look into the history of what these people are doing and why they were doing it. Because if so, you can get them to be able to push policies that don't necessarily help you.
Good
Right.
point. Good point. I guess we lost Keith. What you think about that, Sean? What we saying?
Everything what he says is right. I mean, there's like we have to do more research. That's why I did not vote for Biden, because I did my own research, and it's like I feel like that when it comes to like the casual voter, people get so gassed up by all these like shock value tactics that these politicians do, especially with Biden saying like, "Oh, you're not black if you're not voting for me," and what happens, black people just like instantly just vote for him just in order to prove that we're not that dumb. We don't like Donald Trump, but he's more racist than Donald Trump. So, and I did not vote for Trump either, but I mean, at least with Donald Trump, I could get some money with. I mean, at least you could get $1,000. Not like right now. You know what I mean? Everything is so inflated. It is just crazy.
Good point.
So,
good point.
Yeah, we just had to do better as far as like I'm as a voter, not like, oh, you're a Democrat or Republican. Just do better as a voter, at least in order for you to get benefits that is good for you, and that's like, yes, us as a whole, in my personal opinion.
Now, I think we need to stop doing symbolism, because that's all they're doing. That's all they're giving people. As long as we see a personal figure that looks like you, you're like, oh, we're happy. But what are you benefiting from of it? You know what I mean? Like no one's benefiting from symbolism. Like they're trying to get a first black Supreme Court judge, female. I mean, what is that going to really do? Like, just be honest. There's only one vote. There's 12 of them in there, right? And they're not. So that we could go a long way when it comes to that, but it's not. It's just to shut people up. They've been shutting people, African Americans up, because like they feel like not as a whole. I'm gonna look at it as a whole. We get taught this racist stuff so much that you feel like you can't do nothing. Not me personally, but so they just say, well, at least if we can get somebody to work there. Now let's look at the and I'm going to kind of change gears, but let's look at the NFL. We have the biggest party. Somebody mute something. I hear a lot of background noise. You work on that, Will. Now we have the biggest party.
Is it me with the background noise?
It might be.
Yeah,
it might be. All right. We'll get you back in a minute, but we have the biggest party in the world that actually took over religious parties on Sunday. That's happening right now. I don't know if anybody's talking about Brian.
I think that's
Flores.
Will.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know if anybody talking about Brian Flores getting fired for winning. 8 out of 9 games and getting fired. This is the same thing that happened when they started the Rooney Rule. Shout out to what's his name? Johnny Cochran. Shout out to him before he passed, because he got that Rooney Rule started. And when you talk about the Rooney Rule, it was because Tony Dungy was having winning seasons with Tampa Bay Bucks, and he gets fired, and then Danny Green gets fired after having winning 10 game seasons and had one losing season, and they had this going on. So my question is, do we really care about it? Because the NFL should get like the NBA, because the NBA has 14 quarterbacks that's African Americans, right? They got out of like 32 now, but they only have one owner, which is Jordan. The NFL has since the Rooney Rule, let's say 2018, they had 8 black head coaches. Now they have one, and he's hanging on. In the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Now, my question is, shouldn't they, if they really cared about this, they should not play the Super Bowl. Don't just wait until the Super Bowl start and don't run out that tunnel. You know how much money, billions of dollars being made on the Super Bowl, right? And they have all these contacts, these commercials, sponsors that's being there. The tickets is like $5,000. Can you imagine? This is when it needs to be done if you want change. Now, I'm an individualist, to be honest. I am an individualist. I'm a businessman. If it comes down, I'll cut some of the stuff on the show. But in regards to making change, that's the way you do it. What do y'all think about that? About boycotting the Super Bowl if you really cared about black coaches?
Now, my thought is that, a lot of it ends up being a little bit of lip service. At the end of the day, of course, they want to do whatever's best for the money and, for the team. Now, if there were situations where you start messing with the money, then you best believe if the money gets messed with, they'll hire someone as dark as this microphone I got in front of me.
Fact.
Because just like you had alluded to it before, and it's the same thing with the Kaepernick situation. If a lot of them really cared, I'm talking about the football players, because they're the only ones who could really make a difference. The country has over 300 million people. If one segment stops watching, it's not going to stop the money flow. But if
are we too addicted to football to even boycott?
I'm not. Anyone addicted on the line?
No, I think the individualist players are addicted to the money, and that's the problem. So a boycott will never happen. As viewers watching a football game, we can boycott all day long. It ain't gonna make a difference. But as long as those players come out on that field and play the game, they're making money regardless. Now, since we all know about the boycott back in the day, right? The successful boycott, the bus boycott down south, right? Since our people during the civil rights movement boycotted the bus, that bus company never even regained back the momentum again. And because of that, because the collective together boycotted it. Now the players will have to boycott collectively in order for something like that to happen. When you want to achieve something, it has to be achieved collectively. You can't have, like, for example, LeBron James and another spokesperson, like for an example, in the NBA, who can call all the shots and everybody follow the lead. Nah, until Barack Obama actually talked to LeBron James, that's why they even started playing basketball again during that time. But as players in the NFL collectively, the only way any kind of success will happen as far as boycott is if they do it collectively. I've always said that if there's 70% of the players in the NFL, okay, are black or African American, why don't they go join and create their own league and be their own owners of these NFL teams and call it something different? Negro Football League. It don't matter, but something different. And then they control the narrative and they can change this whole view and scope of a lot of things.
That's a good point. Ron, what you think about the situation with the coach? Now, I think it's a farce, man. I think I don't know. I think it's, for me, from the information that's being said, I think they're trying to, because there's a African American group that's trying to buy a football team, like Jay-Z and all them. I think they're trying to remove him and trying to replace it. Now, I just don't think it's work because they don't have any merit. You know, one thing that he said on the statement and his lawyers, that Ross, I forgot his name. His last name is Ross, the one that owned the Miami um, organization, that he was throwing games, but everybody throws games. You know what I mean? Like I was talking about it with Tom, and I was like, I thought Pittsburgh should have, just get the young guys in there, and get rid of the game. I mean, get so we can get a quarterback. Because I was saying it earlier, America rewards bad behavior. They rewards losers. So that's why everybody throws the games in the NBA because they reward them with the first pick. Now, what if they? I think Will said this the other day. What if they had the lottery pick? Like they do in the NBA. Like you better not tank because you may not get the number one pick.
Mm-hmm.
You may get number 13. So I think that it's incentives to do that. Also, when you talk about hiring, like and people may not like what I got to say here, but anytime anytime you put a requirement on hiring someone, of course they're going to just do a thing where they're not going to get sued. But the way they got the law set up is it's a liability to hire an African American because let's say he's not good at what he does. It's going to be hard for that owner to fire them, right? Because they can always say it's a racial thing. Because we all know all African Americans don't work hard. There are some, you know, but that's an issue when it comes to those organizations. So you can't and then another thing is the loophole in the hiring process is they can say we're going to hire the best candidate. So if an African American is not the best candidate, they can always say because they don't have any coaching experience in the NFL, they can go to someone who's lost one out of 30 games and they got more experience than someone who never ran a coach. I mean, the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So they have that loophole there. So that's why it's needed, but I think it hurts them too, which I think.
And I'm gonna say two different things in regards to one. I'm not for affirmative action. Hiring. In most situations. I think that what it'll end up doing is it'll end up putting it to where you're not actually getting the best, you're just getting someone to end up filling the space. And then you end up getting with the nonsense to where they do things to where they say, I'm not saying for Brian Flores, but situations where they say, tank and we'll give you this. You'll see stuff like that more once you start doing affirmative action hires. Now, what I do agree on the other end is if there is a problem with hiring black coaches, like let's say that the team are actually colluding, and yeah, at that point, that's where the 75% players will come in, and best believe they're all a brotherhood. So if the 75% that were black were to do something, best believe probably about the 20% of everyone else, they're going to do the same thing also. They're going to boycott and end up saying they're pushing for that also. So somewhere along the line, I think that because I think they're going to try to push for some affirmative.
But here's the thing with that, Will. Now, it's a slippery slope because you're lumped in this minority group, right? And obviously, African Americans not the only minority. So let's say the African Americans start getting hired, then you got the Asians who want to coach. Then they're going to end up losing their job. If you got the all these other groups like we're lumped into that. So think about back in the day when they did these affirmative actions, right? We're lumped in to the feminist movement, the gay movement, and all this other stuff. So you're fighting for scraps anyway. What you think about that?
Yeah, well, that's
good. Oh, sorry. Well, good.
Like a race to the bottom, basically. Whoever could say that they, if I could say my mom's black, my dad used to be a man, but he ended up being a woman later. So and my mom, she ended up being gay whenever they ended up divorcing, and I'm not really sure about myself, but like that's what you end up getting into when you start going down that rabbit hole. So, but
Why don't the black owners of the teams just hire the black coaches?
That's a rhetorical question, brother. There ain't no black coach.
Okay, and that's the problem. That's the problem. End of story.
And you know what? That brings an interesting point, because there are black executives, there are black presidents. There was one who was just hired. I forget where. Does anyone know? There's a new black football president just named.
I don't know. If you know, hit us in the comments and let us know. I don't know, but go ahead.
That's who hires the coaches.
Yeah, I mean, America is a money game, an ownership game. If you have ownership, you got power. If you don't, you're going to be misused. That's the end of the story.
We don't want to end the story. We want you to elaborate. There ain't no, that's too easy. Go ahead, man. Talk.
Well, like I say, you want more black coaches. Black folks got to own a team.
Okay, so this is what they're doing, I believe. I think that they're trying to set something up where they can get one of those guys removed. Like, think about what they did with the Clippers. They came about and said that they had the racist tweets, or no, the audio from his girlfriend, and they put it out to the public, because that's what happens. The first thing you want to do is you want to put it in the public to get the public opinion, and then everybody start coming out.
Why he just pay that girl the money she wanted him to pay her, dog?
I don't know.
What's wrong with him?
It's extortion. I don't know.
You see, he still think it's 1950, and you can just be a racist and say what you want. He should have said, "Girl, how much money I got to give you to destroy the tape?" Now, stop playing. How much?
To the streets.
I'm gonna let you get. It's Sashi Brown for the Ravens.
Then she told everything and messed up his money. He messed up his own money. She said, "I'm gonna put this tape out if you don't pay me." He should have paid her.
But here's the thing, though, because the owners came in and got rid of him, right? Because the owners run everything, not Goodell. Goodell
Right.
works for them. Not the other guy over there. But the thing is, they sold the company to another white person. So I know.
They sold a team to somebody who could buy it.
No, there's black people that could buy it.
They didn't. Why they didn't buy it?
Because they didn't sell it to them.
No, they ain't had enough cheese. They have no money.
True. That's not true.
Nah, it's not
They have
true
no
at all.
money.
Magic Johnson just bought the LA Dodgers. What are you talking about, bro?
Why he ain't buy the Clippers?
Because they didn't want to sell it to him.
Pay more money, Magic.
Lakers guy.
Okay, let's get Sean in here. He's from LA. He's from the West Coast. Let's start sea walking. Let's go. Where's Sean at?
Oh wow.
They gonna sell it to whoever got that cheese. Whoever gonna pay that money.
Down, man. Come on, wait. Let Sean talk.
Yeah, as far as like your initial question, like if black people are too obsessed with football to boycott, I mean we are. I mean, we're big time sports fans, so of course that we're gonna be like, man, we love these sports, we love to support them, and we just don't, we don't want to ruin the momentum of our own enjoyment. So we just we continue to support and also try to keep it balanced all the way. But I think that as far as boycotting the NFL, I think that the players had to boycott the NFL more so than just the fans. The fans could do only so much. Now, like these owners, and I'll say even like the franchise itself, could able to make money while even seeing a fan. They can, you know. I mean, I could use like the examples like the WWE, like they're making billions of dollars, even though their content right now or the state of their content, it's not that great. It's not that great. It's like, their prime days, or even with the NBA, even though like the NBA has become like the La Circus, but they money on this. So they actually have the ability to make money while even caring about if a fan is there or not.
Great point. Great point.
So, you know what I mean? If the players could boycott, they can, and also like not even caring about their lifestyle. And also that's self is the reason. The lifestyle. You want that 7, 8, 9 figure lifestyle. You want to feel like shoot, I could eat 5-star restaurants every day. I could cop some shoes, some of these foreign clothes every single day.
Mm.
Houses I want to buy, cars I want to get. You know what I mean? You don't want to you don't most people does not want to leave out that lifestyle. They look at that as like heaven, like the closest thing to heaven to them.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So, you know what I mean, no matter what, you know what I mean? Now, honestly, yeah, they could have actually boycott the NFL if they want to, but they're not gonna do it because that lifestyle. No matter
Mm.
what. They could just go to another league in order to make that popular, but they're not going to do that because the NFL is so established nowadays. It's very taboo. That's like the most taboo football league in the world. There's no other football league that's going to surpass that.
That's a point.
No
That's
one.
They tried too. Even Vince McMahon tried, didn't he?
He tried and he fell twice, man. He fell twice.
I think he had a chance if the COVID didn't hit, man. I was watching.
He has a chance if it wasn't for COVID, but it's not as big. It's like you're not paying like these football players are getting paid like almost like NBA numbers. Like an NBA player who actually is kind of like an all-star could get up to around like 100 million. Now football players are now able to get into that state where they can get 100 million if you're a superstar. Not many leagues could do that. Now, in my personal opinion, they should not care about the money. They should know what is right. But let's be honest here, they only care about is that lifestyle. So when I hear when it comes to like black coaches is not allowed to be in the NFL, I mean to be honest, that's your fault. You guys should actually allow the black coaches to be there. You guys should co-sign more black coaches.
That's a great point. I'm gonna have to do a video on that. Whose fault is it? Ron, what you got to say anything on this?
Yeah, I think it would be difficult. I think I agree with the caller that the players themselves would have to boycott right now. But I think in the long run, a big issue is probably the pool. People have to make a bigger deal than in college and in the pro, like the coaching teams, to increase the pool of black coaches. Possibly. I mean, the other option would be to try to create your own league, but at the same time, I don't think the players are, making a big deal even about the black coaches or to start another league. The NFL would be very difficult. There's so much money in the NFL, and in the betting market with the NFL to like really to topple it. I mean, people have tried. But I think one of the big things would be to increase the pool of coaches and make a big deal at the college level and in the pro. Like how many black coaches are on like coaching staffs to even, pick from, considering like the makeup of the actual NFL, and why isn't a big deal made about that?
Then we got to look at they own the top the channels. NBC. They got stuff on Fox. They got stuff on CBS. If you can't get on those channels, you're not going to win. And then you got to think of, am I going to play the game on the same day, the same day as the NFL? And we all know back in the 80s when they tried to come up with that league, when Trump was owning one of those teams, and they tried to sue them for having a monopoly, and they lost. They were playing their games on in the spring because you can't compete, during this period of time because, the NBC is not going to give up their account for something's on the, that might not work.
I thought Trump won that
$1. He won $1. they all went bankrupt because of that. Like they were telling Trump that don't do that yet because they were building on something. You know what I mean? And yeah.
And that's definitely a lesson, because if you don't have the money, like Trump, was in the beginning of like in the 80s, he had money, but he didn't have NFL money.
But here's the thing, though. Like, you can have money. You're a business owner. You're not supposed to use your personal money. You know what I mean? You got to get money generating. So the teams that was there, they did it right. They were getting players from the NFL. They got Steve Young. They got Jim Kelly. Can you fix that, Will? They got Jim Kelly. They got Herschel Walker after he won the Georgia championship, and they just didn't have the money to play people. There was like one or two teams that was getting people to come in to watch the games, but the other games was empty. They was running out of money fast. So, and then one thing that people should understand, when you're trying to compete, that's why when you're trying to compete with another company, a big corporation could take you out. So, like, basically, like, let's say you had a restaurant and you're like, man, I can make good chicken. People start coming over to your restaurant, and then the KFC gets a hold of it, and they say, guess what? I'll just put the KFC right next to yours and take you out. You know what I mean? So that's what was happening. Like, the NFL was just too powerful. They have so much revenue coming in. They got the endorsements. It would take. Now I don't know if they can't. They have to all do it in NFL, but like the NBA, I think LeBron and those stars can do it because there's less people that play. You know what I'm saying? So if he really wanted to, and he really get a buy-in from all the top stars, I think he could do that. I know Jimmy disagrees with that. Jimmy, what's your thoughts on that?
No, I think another league could come along, but you got to remember, if another league comes along, the NFL will just absorb them, because they had an AFL at one time. And when they couldn't come to terms, they said, well, we'll just absorb you into the NFL. So what they would have to do is get more teams in some places where people don't have teams, and the NFL will just suck them into it because they're already established. You can't stop the NFL because they already have the television is locked down. They have the YouTube locked down. So all that's in place. They have the stadiums. They got the cities locked down. The only way you're going to have another league, even if you start a league, the point of that is to get the NFL to buy your league. They're already in place. Now, if you want to become an owner, you have to be a person that has so much money that you can overpay for a team. You understand what I mean? Like with the Clippers, like what I was saying. If you're willing to pay more than the fair price, you and some guys collude together, maybe Magic Johnson, Jay-Z, and Michael Jordan get together and say they want to have an NFL team, they can overpay, they can get in. But you got to have bucks to get in that game, big bucks.
And people ain't selling their company, man. Because, like, look,
you
Rooney.
Can have as many black coaches as you want once you own the team.
People, they're not selling,
man.
If
you want to hire black people, you just hire whoever you want.
Yeah, people are not selling their teams, man. Look at Rooney's. The Rooney's had it since 1933. These families is keeping these teams. And I just don't see, like, there's a reason why they're not in every city, because certain cities is not going to give that participation. They're not going to go, like, Pittsburgh is a different. Detroit, all those blue collar towns, because they want to release from it. But when you go to like LA, there is too much to do in LA for them to sit down and watch a WNBA game or something like that. So it's different. Like when you're in LA, is the sun shining? Why would I go to this game? You know what I mean? Like they lost so many franchises in the last 20 years. One day it was Oakland, one day it was LA, now it's in Vegas. So it depends where you're at. Like, and then you got to have a big city, having the team. So.
I mean, the Raiders have been losing for over 20 years after, me passing off and on. So, that's partially why they're actually moving in and out of the cities. No offense. Like
you said, they were losing. Well, that's the thing, because Cleveland lose every year, and they full. The stadium's full.
But it's Cleveland though. It's Cleveland though. I don't disrespect to Cleveland, but Cleveland always,
Shots fired. Cleveland. Shots fired.
Oh man, starting the East-West Coast beef again.
Hey, they got Bone Thugs and Harmony, man.
Yeah, but Bone Thugs come to us.
That's a fact. That's a
Right.
whole fact. Gotta love LA.
Man.
I love it.
Yeah. So Swan, what you think, Swanee?
No, I'm just listening, man. I'm in agreement with what everybody pretty much is saying about it. Again, it goes back to capital. And I just want to drop a gem real quick. Curtis Martin, everybody knows Curtis Martin. He's a Pittsburgh native. When he retired, he tried to actually buy the New York Jets, and of course, he was turned down. He had the business plan set up and everything. He had the firms with extra money, and they denied him. Right. So again, we talk about a system that's not designed for us to achieve in or excel, and we're actually being blackballed from it all. So as players, I would suggest to NFL players, put your money together and buy a stake in your team. Okay, to the point that eventually you're going to own it. As that team makes money, you make money, right?
Yep.
And you got to think about it. You got to think of it as a stock market. If that stock isn't making money, you're going to make money. And if you know the CEO got 1 million shares, but you buy 600 and some thousand shares, listen, you got a big stake in that company, right? To the point that you got a seat at the table. But these individual players are not even thinking about that. You know what I mean? Let alone head coaches or black head coaches. You know what I mean? If they put their heads together and think about, listen, if 2 or 3 of us put our money together, we can buy a huge stake in the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Miami Dolphins, like Serena Williams and her sister is doing. And other places around the NFL and the NBA, you know what I mean? But nobody's even thinking about that. So when it comes to a boycott, they're not even thinking about even making money to the point that they become wealthy. So they're not thinking about wealth. They're thinking about their own riches. And that's why it's not going to happen.
I agree. And I mean, look at Jay-Z, man. Like he had this freestyle talking about we need to support black companies. But then there's a video of his staff with Title, and it's like he's the only black person in the group. It's like 30 white folks there. Tariq Nasheed, he was another one, talking about this black stuff. But when he did those Hitting the Color videos, he had a whole all white staff. I mean, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, are we going to do the best for the job, or are we going to continue? What is that term called? I forgot what it's called, but the NFL and the NBA, they actually did that. Is it how do you say it? Will meritocracy? I don't know how to say it.
Meritocracy.
Meritocracy, right? The athletes, that's what they do. It's the best athlete, because if we go down that slippery slope, well, guess what? We ain't see a white cornerback since Jason Windhorn, is that his name? Jason Seahorn or something like that. Used to play for New York. I don't even remember his name, but he was like the last starting cornerback. And that was like 2000. There's a lot of positions that don't have, like, it's majority black, right? But in my opinion, they're the best for the job. They're better than everybody. So, and I feel like as an owner, you can hire who you want to hire. So it's our job if we want to support it or not. In my opinion, I mean, it's interesting though, because Bill Belichick gave Brian Flores a shot and he threw him under the bus. Like the reason, like Brian Flores, I believe did not play football. For all those people who out there be like, you need to play football, you don't know what you're talking about. He did not play. He came in as a scout guy, and Bill Belichick moved him up to the rankings where he's the reason why Tom Brady's legacy is where he is at in Brian Belichick, because he was the defensive coordinator. He moved himself all the way up there, and during that Super Bowl when they played Seattle, he's the reason he put that cornerback in, the one that got that interception. And he was, you know what I'm saying? Like that was a great move when in regards to coaching. And it made them look good, because imagine if they lost that Super Bowl and they would have lost against Atlanta. They wouldn't be talking about Tom Brady like that. They'll be talking to him like LeBron James. He lost all these Super Bowls. So he played a part in history, and he did a really good job down there. I think he deserved a job. I think he would have got one. I just don't think he should have did that. through the NFL under the bus because he had 2 other interviews, you know. But that's why I said it got to be something bigger. I think they try and take that particular owner out so that they can see if they can move in with a group. Which if you want to play chess, you're going to lose to those billionaires. They're ruthless, you know.
Mm. I did not know he didn't play, but I looked at him like, man, he's the NFL Eric Spoelstra, basically. With he's not hit. Well, he was in Miami, just like Spoelstra also. But yeah,
really good coach.
What was that?
He's a really good coach. Like for him to do that, pull that off down there, because what I found is to be true. This is why, like when I talk about the Steelers a lot, I'm passionate about it. It sounds like I'm a hater, but I'm passionate about it because I don't think they're doing things to win. And what I found out to be true this year is those owners don't do things to win because they're gonna get money regardless. Because you're gonna support, you're gonna buy the apparel, you're gonna watch the games, you're gonna say, "Oh, this is my team," no matter what. We don't hold them to the fire, right? So think about Detroit. How is Detroit, Cleveland, all these other organizations just having bad organizations? And Brian just said it. And Hugh Jackson's another one. Hugh Jackson, he said they had a 4-year plan, and they was supposed to just lose so they can get these draft picks coming in. And it made him look bad because he only won 1 game and like 1 in 34. But he was saying that they set him up to lose, to fail. But here's the thing: his record is not going away. So now when he try to get another job, they're like, well, he was 1 in 34, bro. And so I think Brian didn't want to do that. He was like, no, I'm coming out here to win. I came from a winning organization with New England. And they wanted to take the team. They didn't like Tua. I mean, they put Tua in, which I think Tua's from Alabama. He went to Alabama, I think. I can't remember. But he wasn't a good quarterback, so they put Ryan Fitzpatrick in, and they started winning. And they got mad at him for that, so it's a shame.
Yeah. And it's a shame that it ends up getting here. Because now it's like there's no loyalty because a lot of people are going to look at that thing with Bill Belichick and they're going to look and say, we don't know if we want to hire you because you're the type that's going to be, sharing text messages, and things like that. Now it's, it's good that he found out, I think that you should know. I also don't think the Giants are wrong in the sense, like they can hire whoever they want to hire. They have the right to be able to do that. But on the other end, like you got to watch out what you do because people are going to be watching. So if you throw Belichick under the bus like that, it's a matter of if it's going to come back to bite you or not. So that's my thoughts on that.
Right. Yeah. So, Swanee, you got anything to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say there's one owner in particular that should not be an owner. I'm gonna let y'all take a guess.
One owner.
Yep. I'll give you
in the NFL.
Yeah, in the NFL, he fires coaches for any reason.
I don't know.
Will's team. Who's Will's team?
Guess what?
Oh, the Steelers. Oh my God.
Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones gotta go, man. He is like the micromanagement horror film.
It's sad. I mean, unfortunately, I agree, man. I really wish that he would step back and just be an owner and stop doing things that he's obviously not going to be great at doing. He's holding the team back,
Should never fire Jimmy Johnson, man. At the end, he was dominating, man.
Yeah, to the point, people in the comments over there like, yeah, the boys ain't been able to ball in 25 years. I'm like, dang, y'all rough.
I should have got it this year if Dex didn't. His mismanagement. He's like, what made you think no timeouts? Let me run in the middle of the field.
Man,
that was wow, man.
That's because Jerry Jones came down to the sideline and looked the coach in the eye like, listen, you better do something.
Man. Wow. man. But
Jerry
wow,
Jones is their problem.
that's a great point. A great point. I don't know how you still America's team. I never make it in the postseason, man. Yeah, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, man. I guess we're gonna wrap up. But this was a great show, man. Appreciate y'all. Before y'all go, Sean, you want to say anything before you go? Last words.
I'm just say, as far as like, you know, I don't know, like I think the last caller said that there isn't that many pool for black coaches. That's far from the truth. You know, what I mean, there is a pool. It's just that they no one is, or most of them don't even touch the pool over there. So, but anyway, it's not my problem. It's the players' problem. The players need to do this, or else, you know, what I mean, there won't be no change. You know, because there's um there's a limit to what fans or any outsider would do if they want to intervene. But yeah, and honestly about Joe Rogan, yeah, like Joe Rogan, he's still gonna be making content. You know what I mean? As long you don't talk certain crap about a certain demographic that they value more, that's all that matters, bro. So yeah, so I say fuck Joe Rogan, fuck Spotify, fuck Twitter, and yeah, and fuck my Lakers too because they looking trash out here. So yeah,
That's a good way to. That's a good way to end it right there. I like that.
yeah,
Carl. Thanks for coming on, Sean.
no problem.
Oh, that was dope. Hey,
He called. She belongs to the
Man.
street.
that was good. Way you ended that.
Like dude on Half Baked. He's like, F you, you're cool. F you. You know.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Well, you want to leave us with anything short? First off, I appreciate you coming on. I know you probably have a busy Saturday, you know, so appreciate the support.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys, allowing me to get on. I got a little break in my Saturday, and I was able to jump on to holler at my brothers again, man. It was, another great show, man. All TNJ listeners out there, man, please share and subscribe, man, to TNJ Radio, and man, and share it to your friends and family, man. This is dope, man. This was a great conversation. I appreciate all the callers that came in, especially Ron. Ron stuck in there with us and was giving some great knowledge, from his perspective. And so I always appreciate, man, just interacting and just talk about different things and educate one another. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? For me, anyway, I always like to engage in conversation, man, a constructive conversation. So I appreciate you, my brothers, for sure.
Oh, we thank you as well, man. You have a good weekend. Oh man, that was great. Great show. Great show. On up. All right, so we're gonna play one of our sponsors. Check out one of our sponsors, afjcworldwide.com. That is afjcworldwide.com for our latest apparel, homeware, and drinkware. Definitely get a shirt for your husband, wife, doesn't matter. Again, check out afjcworldwide.com. Oh yeah, so we appreciate the love on the TNJ Radio and also the Josie Sports Nation. Yes,
Yeah, thanks for coming through, Outlaws.
that's right.
You know, you guys got the love also.
Yo, the comments was popping today, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Comments was popping. I like that, man. It was a lot of interactions in that thing, man. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. What you get into the rest of the day, man?
I don't know if I should talk about my vices, but hopefully my wife ain't listening. But I'll be just putting money in certain places, and if certain sports teams do certain things, it'll affect the outcome.
I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Okay, that's what's up, man. You know, I'm watching now. What's going on today? UFC fight tonight. You know, I might go live again. We'll see. But UFC. That's what I'll be doing. That's my Saturday routine, if you will.
Notable fighters coming up tonight.
Not tonight. Not tonight. Adesanya's fighting next week. That's they do one pay-per-view a month. So, but that's the big fight. This is just like
Is Diaz retired or he's still fighting?
no, he's fighting, man. You talking about Nate Diaz?
Nate Diaz, yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting. It's crazy, man, because the UFC, there's only certain people that draw a big crowd. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about like on pay-per-view sales. And it's Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, and Conor McGregor, and I think that's it. And maybe John Jones. That's why they're keeping him around. Because they try to get that fight with Francis. And those guys, other than other than James, what's his name, John Jones, they're losing. Like they're losing their fights, but they're still getting title fights. So we see what Data is doing, man. Dana White, he's trying to make money, so he's keeping them getting title shots and they're losing. Like McGregor lost like the last 3 out of 4, and he's getting title shots.
Yeah, well, it's like wrestling. A lot of these people, they don't have the mic skills to be able to do that, or the charisma and camera presence. McGregor, he make me think he's going to win.
WWE.
These guys, they all have that charisma. They have that camera presence. They'll sell you.
Right. Yes, that's what I'll be doing today. Probably. I've been fasting. I'm gonna let you go, but I've been fasting, man, and I'm surprised I ain't cuss people out on the show. I'm aggy. I'm angry. I'm drinking coffee, so I got 3 o'clock. I'm gonna eat at 5. I'm going to this wedding, man, in Pittsburgh. So I gotta lose some weight. I can't be out there looking like fat boy out there. You know how moms is when she's moms they tell you the truth. You're getting fat. I don't want to hear her mouth, but
yeah.
But all right, man. Close the show. We appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, and we're out.
All right. Peace.